Sorry about that. Obviously, I've done something wrong somewhere. Anyway, water tower. Um, Again, heavily modified again. Uh, Metcalf sheets have been brilliant. Um, but basically, this is the tower. Um, you got the door on the one side. You also have a door on the other side, but in this case, I didn't put it back in. I just left it as it was. Just to give you a rough idea, here is an original Hornby water tower. Doors both ends. I lost the windows in the top. Didn't want to put those in. But I retained the windows. The lip on the top here, I decided to cut that off. There is actually, when you pull the top cover off here and you do cut the lip off, there is still plenty of room left inside for you to put this back in without any worries. Um, but that's about it, really. It's just something as simple as that. Surprisingly, actually looked a little bit more realistic once you do something like this to it. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. See what you think, and we'll go from there. Right. Just showing another thing. Okay, we got a Hornby signal box. Again, I've done the same thing with this one. Again, Metcalf card sheets again, modified it. I've put a light in here. There is also lighting inside. Because it's the 1980s, but this what the whole thing's based on is 1980s. Because it's based on the 1980s, again, you can't see it very well unless, of course, it was lit up inside, you would see it. But in the 1980s, people tended not to be particularly too bothered about old buildings. So some buildings people didn't really care about much, really. So this part of the layout is going to be part of the railway restoration project that I'm the sort of theme that I'm aiming for. Um, this in particular actually has kitchen units inside, as well as a desk that perhaps would not normally be in a signal box. Um, and also, while we're over here, you'll see again using Metcalf kits, I've actually built an ash pit, all from card. Um, all I've done here is I've used some sleepers that have been spare and that I had knocking around. I've placed those over the top there. This does actually come out still at the moment. What I will do eventually is I'm going to put some ash in both of these pits, and I'm going to have a flickering LED in there as well, as so that it actually glows to make it look like it's hot still. I'm thinking of perhaps using like to be honest with you, I'm not really quite sure. Really, I'm thinking of like just like perspex dust that the light can reflect through, and I might dye that with some black ink just to make it look black. But we'll see what happens when we go along. Then, like other ash pits, there was one I've seen recently where the ramp actually goes up here. I couldn't understand why you would have a ramp right next to a pit. You would expect the ramp to be where I've put it here after the pit, because obviously someone's got to wheel a wheelbarrow up here. So in this way, I think it probably makes it look a little bit more authentic. And then once wired up and fixed down, the track will then sit over the top like that, and that'll be it. That's pretty much all I've got to show for you right now. The turntable is still a work in progress at the moment. That has also been heavily modified. The flange around the edge has been completely cut off. There is supposed to be copper connections on the ends here. They've been removed so that I don't get any arcing out. The polarity on this turntable does change when it gets round to a certain point. So when it does get to that point, I'll be changing the polarity on that line of track as well as. So that way then once everything is all electrified, I'm not going to get any shorts. To the copper pieces on the ends here actually stop the track from sliding out. So to prevent that, there are two copper contacts here and here. They've been soldered in so now this track will not move at all. And also when it does go round, it will not touch on any one of these tracks here either. So it's completely independent. The power supply will be completely independent as well as from the rest of the track as well as. All I can say to that one is I hope it works. It wasn't my first choice. It just so happened to be given to me. So I thought I might as well use it. Because I was actually looking into buying a Dapol kit, which I thought made looked a little bit more authentic. But in the end, I've gone with this one, which is fully electric. I do have a spare one, which is a manual. That's pretty much it, really, for that bit. Right, I've waffled along long enough now, I think. Sorry about the video. I don't know what happened there, but it just cut me off at a particular point. So hence the reason why I've had to post two videos today. I hope you like what I've showed you. Hope it inspires you in some way. I have another project I'm looking into doing at the moment. I'm looking into modifying this into a track cleaner. I have been looking at a few things online to give me an idea of how I'm going to build it. So what I do is I'll video it as I go along, and if I like how it pans out, I'll post it. If not, then, well, you know, it ended up in the bin. All right. Okay, right. One other thing, I have been wanting to buy a new control system for the layout. It will be DCC, and it has been wired up accordingly. I am thinking about buying an NCE power cab. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. Is it going to be a good purchase or not? What are you using? What do you think of that? And also, I mean, you know how big the layout is. If you don't, I'll show you again. It starts, oh, blimey. Starts right the way from there. It goes all the way around. This is the fiddle yard. Then you got the 3 tracks, which is the main line down the bottom, which goes all the way around. And then you'll also have a branch line, which is along the top of the viaduct here. And that goes all the way around into that tunnel here. And that takes you out right at the very other side over there and brings you right the way around where you can see the locomotive over here, and then brings you back around here again. So as you can see, it's quite a large layout. If I had to hazard a guess, I think it's probably 6 by 13 approximately. So you can see there's an awful lot of track there. So let me know if you think that the power cab is going to be more than sufficient to run that. I know it's only 2 amps. And I do know you can buy a booster pack to knock it up to 5 amps later on. It just means that it's probably just going to limit me to the amount of locomotives I can use at any one time, for about 2 or 3. So let me know. Any advice is good advice, and we'll go from there. Thanks again for watching. I'm Brian. We'll see you soon. Ta-ra.